Yeah, recording na tayo, guys. Part 2 na, no? Dito tayo. Internal control evaluation in the financial statement audit. Napindot ko ba yung record? Ayan. Okay, sabi natin kanina, no? Doon sa overview natin, meron tayong 5 steps. Okay, highlight na agad natin, no? Para at least makita mo na. Una, obtain an understanding of client's internal control. Pangalawa, make a preliminary assessment of control risk. Pangatlo, determine the appropriate responses to the assessed risks. Pang-apat, reassess level of control risk. May highlight na pala siya. And then, pang-lima, determine the nature, timing, and extent of substantive tests. Okay, unahin na natin. Siyempre, step 1 muna tayo. Okay, obtain an understanding of the client's internal control. So, paano mo ba magagawa yan? Dito, di ba, sa audit planning pa lang, nagkaroon na tayo ng understanding. Ito, basahin na lang natin ulit. Performing preliminary review. An understanding of the flow of the transactions provides the auditor with the general knowledge of various classes of transactions and the methods by which each significant class of transactions is authorized, executed, recorded, and processed. So parang susundan mo, no? Yung flow ng transactions. Okay. So yung example nito, makikita mo mamaya sa walkthrough. Ito, performing a transaction walkthrough. Following a single transaction for each major segment of the internal control structure. Okay. So, yan nga. Kailangan maintindihan mo yung flow ng transactions. Ayan. So, based on this, an auditor decides whether it is reasonable to rely on internal control. Yan. Ito, may guide din, no, kung paano ba gagawin yung pag-understand ng flow ng transactions. Yan. Hinati yung transaction cycles na yan into, ilan ba yan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cycles. Okay, nandiyan si revenue, receivables, and cash receipts cycle. Okay. Sa unang tingin, akala mo tatlo talaga siya na iba't ibang cycle, no? Pero kung i-analyze mo, related kasi yan sa isa't isa. Okay, 'di ba pag nagkaroon ka ng sale, hindi mo naman agad marireceive yung cash, no? Most likely credit sale yan. Kaya yung revenue cycle related sa receivable cycle. Okay, kasi yung sale mo magiging receivable muna siya bago mo ma-collect. Okay, pag collection na, cash receipt cycle na yan. Okay, medyo nakakautal yan. Cash receipts cycle. Okay, ganun din naman, ano, kung titingnan mo yung other side. Purchasing naman, related siya sa payables. Okay, kasi pag bumili ka, hindi naman for cash, ano, on credit din, kadalasan. Okay, kaya magiging payable muna bago mag-disburse ng cash. Okay, o bago ka magbayad. Napapasok naman dito sa disbursement cycle. Highlight din natin para cute. Okay, next na transaction cycle, payroll cycle, ano, yung pasahod na. Next, production or conversion cycle. Kung halimbawa, manufacturing yung entity, no? Yung raw materials, magiging work in process, magiging finished goods. Okay, para sa akin, ito yung nakaka-enjoy na i-understand yung conversion cycle. Okay, kasi parang yan, no? Parang field trip. Okay, titingnan mo kung paano ba nagiging paano nagiging bottled milk yung gatas ng baka. Okay, so ang saya nito. Meron din kasi ano pa bang client ko noon? Sardinas naman. Paano napupunta sa lata yung sardines? Kaya lang hindi ko na observe yun ng actual. Kinwento na lang sa amin. Okay, sayang nga eh. Ito, financing and investing cycle, yung pang-5 cycle naman. Okay. Ayan. So ito, advantages enables the auditor to gain an adequate understanding of the flow of transactions from inception to conclusion. Okay. Enables the auditor to better evaluate the impact of internal control on specific financial statement items. Okay, syempre yung understanding mo yan, kailangan mong i-document. Okay. So yan. The following audit process required documentation. Una, yung discussion among the engagement team. Pakita natin kulay. Yan. Regarding the susceptibility of FS to material misstatement and significant decisions reached. Okay, among the engagement team. Okay. So dun sa audit team. Okay. Next, understanding obtained from of aspects of entity and its environment and the 5 internal control components. Again, sino yung 5? Si Cream C. Huwag mong kakalimutan si Cream C. Okay. Then ito, identified and assessed risk of material misstatement at FS and assertion level. Okay, then ito, risk identified and related controls evaluated as a result of significant risks and risks which it is not possible to reduce risk of material misstatement. Okay. So, paano mo i-document? Yan, may iba't ibang ways din. No? Pwedeng narrative, pwedeng internal control questionnaires, pwedeng flowcharts, or combination of methods. Pag narrative, parang kinukwento mo lang, no? Essay. Internal control questionnaire, parang ano naman to, parang ka lang nagsusurvey, ano? So, parang may mga yes or no questions dyan. Tatanong mo lang, nag-exist ba yung control na ganito? Yes. Pinipirmahan ba yung ganitong document bago siya mag-proceed sa process na to? Yes. Gaganunin lang ni client yan, sasagutan lang niya. Yung internal control questionnaire, prepared mo yan, tapos ipapasagot mo kay client. Okay, pero syempre, kung ako yung client, no, pag mumukain kong ano yun, existing, okay, pagagandahin ko yung image ng entity. Kaya itong IC questionnaire, kailangan mo pa rin i-verify yan. Okay, hindi ka mag-rely basta-basta na sinabi niya, yes, uy, may control sila na ganito. Nagtiwala ka agad. Mali yun, ano? Huwag ka basta-basta magtitiwala. Okay, next natin, flowcharts. Ito, alam na alam mo, yung mga drawing, ano? Pinag-aralan mo rin yan sa AIS. Okay, flowcharting. Then, ito, combination of methods. Yun lang, pagsasama-samahin mo lang. May narrative, may flowchart. Okay. Ayan, ito. Performing a transaction walkthrough. Ayan. Following a single transaction for each major segment of the internal control structure. Okay, burahin lang natin to. Natakpan eh. Ayan. So, ito yung parang ano, no? Magte-test ka ng isang transaction, susundan mo siya. Okay. Para makita mo, ma-identify mo ano ba yung mga controls na effective o yung mga implemented pala. Okay. With regards to that transaction. Okay. So, halimbawa, isang transaction ng pertaining sa revenue. So, halimbawa, yung pag-recognize ng sale hanggang sa ma-receive yung cash. Titingnan mo yung isang transaction na yun. Susundan mo siya. No, from nagkaroon ng sale, naging receivable, tapos naging cash. Okay. Tapos, isa ring transaction for purchasing naman. So, nung bumili ka, may mga PO muna, tapos nag-recognize ng payable, ay na-receive muna pala yung goods, no? Tapos naging payable, tapos binayaran mo yung payable. Okay, mga ganyan. Walkthrough. General practices regarding walkthroughs, yan, should be done every year, should be performed after the flowcharts or narratives have been prepared, and the auditor who prepared the flowcharts should be the one to do the walkthrough. Dito mo kasi makikita, no, parang ma-verify mo, no. Kasi sa flowcharts, halimbawa may mga, di ba ganyan, may start, ay teka, nasa pan-drawing natin. Nagsa-start yung process, tapos yan yun, di ba, yung symbol for the beginning. Okay, tapos may mga box dyan. Okay, narrative. I-state mo dito kung ano yung ginawa. Okay. Tapos, pwedeng lagyan dito ng mga off-page connector na numbered. Tapos, nandyan yung risk na related. Tapos, may isa pa ditong off-page connector. Siguro, iibahin yung kulay na nakalagay naman dyan yung control. Okay, so parang dito pa lang sa flowchart, bukod dun sa mismong processes na nilalagay mo sa flowchart, okay, siguro nakasanayan mo na yan, puro process lang nilalagay dito, no? Ilalagay mo rin, bilang auditor ka na ngayon, no? Lalagay mo rin yung mga controls, yung mga risk na na-identify mo, and syempre, yung controls na sinabi ng client na nag-exist. Okay, ngayon, when you perform the walkthrough, syempre, meron ka ng document na susundan mismo. Ma-identify mo ngayon kung talaga bang nag-exist yung control na to. Okay, kaya sabi dyan, auditor who prepared the flowcharts, sino nag-prepare niyan, siya rin dapat yung mag-perform ng walkthrough. Okay, para familiar na siya. Alam niya na yung mga hahanapin. Okay, ayan, tas ito, the relationship of controls to assertions. Ayan, nakalatag dyan yung mga assertions, no? Ito, na-introduce na rin natin. Merong assertions about classes of transactions, about account balances, then about presentation and disclosure. So isa-isain ulit natin to. Occurrence, yan muna. Sa classes of transactions muna, occurrence, completeness, accuracy, cut-off, and classification. Yan, occurrence muna, transactions and events that have been recorded, have occurred, and pertain to the entity. Okay, nangyari talaga siya. Nag-occur talaga yung transaction. Completeness, dapat, kung ano yung dapat ma-record, na-record or complete. Accuracy, amounts and other data relating to recorded transactions and events have been recorded appropriately. Self-explanatory naman, no? Pero tingnan pa rin natin. Cut-off, ito naman, yung dapat nasa correct accounting period. Okay, bakit cut-off? Kasi 'di ba may year-end tayo. So yung year-end mo, yun yung cut-off mo. Dapat lahat ng transactions na pasok dun sa accounting period na yun, na-present dun sa accounting period na yun. Okay? Then yung mga sumunod, next na, accounting period na. Okay. Naging issue to. Bakit? Syempre hindi naman laging gagawa yung procedures bago mag-year-end. Okay? Pwedeng tatawid na ng year-end. Halimbawa, nakapag-provide ng documents yung client mo, February na. Okay. Pero yung year-end niya, December. So, February, pwede bang may pumasok na dun sa documents na yun na transactions na hindi na pasok sa year-end na ino-audit mo, sa period na ino-audit mo? Pwede, no? Pwedeng may pumasok na doon. Halimbawa, yung audit mo is 2020. Okay, 2020 yung audit mo. Year-end 2020. Nag-provide si client February 2021 na. Okay, halo-halo na yan ngayon. No, nakita mo, sale na pala to ng January 2021. So, hindi mo na, yun, dapat ma-consider. So, yun, importante rin yung cut-off. Then, classification, transactions, and events have been recorded in proper accounts. Okay. Next natin, account balances naman. For the account balances. Existence. Ayan. Assets, liabilities, and equity. Interest exists. Okay. Rights and obligations. The entity holds or controls the right to assets, and the liabilities are obligations of the entity. Okay. Completeness, all assets, liabilities to, liabilities and equity interest that should have been recorded have been recorded. So, complete. Dapat. Then, valuation and allocation, assets, liabilities, and equity interests are included in the financial statements at appropriate amounts. Okay. So, pansinin mo, no? Account balances, parang related siya sa mga balance sheet items, no? yung asset, liabilities, equity. Ito naman classes of transactions, income statement. Okay, nag-occur ba yung sale? Ayan. Okay, pati yung cut-off, no? Yung example din natin dito, yung sale na pala siya sa next year, nahalo pa siya dun sa hinihingi mo na for previous year pa na documents. Okay. Then next natin, assertions, presentation and disclosure naman. Yan, occurrence and rights and obligations. Disclosed events, transactions, and other matters have occurred and pertain to the entity. Nandiyan pa rin si completeness. All disclosures that should have been included have been included. Classification, financial information is appropriately presented and described. Disclosures are clearly expressed. Then accuracy and valuation, financial and other information are disclosed fairly at appropriate amounts. Okay. So dito sa assertions na to, related dyan yung mga controls, no? So halimbawa, ano bang control? Yung pre-numbering na nabanggit natin kanina, no? Halimbawa yung sales orders, pre-numbered siya. Saang assertion kaya siya related? Completeness, completeness. Kasi kapag may nawawalang number doon, kunwari, yung SO5, SO6, SO7, 8. Okay, so halimbawa, alam mo na pre-numbered siya. Tapos, nung humingi ka ng sample, hiningi mo kay client, pakibigay sa akin yung sales order 7. Okay, tapos, nung bumalik sa'yo yung client mo, yung staff dun sa entity na ino-audit nyo, sabi niya, sir, nawawala po yung document na yan. O yun, Ibig sabihin, hindi kompleto. Okay, yung completeness assertion, yung tinamaan. Okay, so yung control ng pre-numbering ng documents, yan, related siya sa completeness. Okay, ano pa ba? Ayan, so sa cut-off din, pwede ring related yung pre-numbering. Okay. Ayan. Okay, so ito yung assertions, no? And yung relationship niya sa controls. Ayan. Okay, ano pa ba ang pwede nating i-share dito? Ayan. Classification. Ayan naman, Okay, so next tayo. Step 2. Make a preliminary assessment of control risk. Ayan. So, ano ulit yung control risk? Ito yung risk na yung material misstatements, hindi siya ma-detect, correct, or prevent ng internal controls. Okay? So, existing yung controls, pero nag-fail siya to detect, correct, or prevent the misstatement. Okay? O yung kung may fraud man dyan, o kung ano man. Okay? So, yun yung control risk. Again, component yan ng risk of material misstatement, no? Okay, so control risk times inherent risk is equal to risk of material misstatement. Ayan, sana naalala mo pa yan. Kanina pa tayo banggit sa risk of material misstatement. Again, yung inherent risk naman, yung in the absence of controls, yung mismong risk associated with the item. Okay? Ayan, in assessing control risk, the auditor, ayan, may two possible risk assessment pertaining to control risk. Ayan, si high and si less than high control risk assessment. Okay, pag high, ayan, when there is a high likelihood that significant misstatements exist, can result from the auditor's belief that control structure, policies, and procedures have not been effectively designed or operated effectively. Okay, pag less than high naman, halimbawa, medium or low. Okay. When the auditor is able to identify specific control structure, policies, and procedures that are in place likely to prevent or detect the material misstatements in FS assertions and are designed and operating effectively. So, bakit ba nagmamatter yan? Yung kung high ba o less than high yung control risk assessment. Kasi ito yung magsasabi sa'yo kung pwede ka bang mag-rely dun sa internal control. Okay, kapag na-identify mo o na-assess mo na high yung control risk ng isang control, wag ka na mag-rely doon. Wag mo na siyang i-test. Okay, diretso ka na sa substantive procedure o substantive test. Kapag less than high naman, ibig sabihin, pwede kang mag-rely doon sa control. Okay, so i-test mo muna yung control, mag-TOC ka muna para at least lumiit yung trabaho mo sa substantive test. Okay, yung binanggit natin dito sa taas. Okay, ito yung TOC. Kapag control risk is less than high, yan, mag-TOC ka para yung substantive mo mas chill. Okay, mas relax ka ng konti. Konti lang naman. Mapapagod ka pa rin, huwag kang mag-alala. Okay, ayan, kapag naman high yung control risk assessment, huwag ka na mag-TOC. Ayan, papagorin mo lang sarili mo, hindi ka naman magre-rely kasi nga mataas yung control risk. Diretso ka na ng substantive test. Yun nga lang, mas malaki o mas matrabaho yung gagawin mo dyan. Siguro, mas malaki yung sample size, yung procedure na gagawin mo, hindi interim, magiging year-end, okay, so on. Okay, kaya tinitingnan mo dito yung control risk assessment. Yan, considers the errors or irregularities that could occur and that could result in material misstatements in the FS, identifies relevant control procedures designed to prevent the errors or irregularities, and perform TOCs on the controls to be relied on in designing substantive test. Yan, perform TOC. Na makikita mo dito sa step 3. Okay, determine the appropriate response to the assessed risk. Okay, di ba tinignan mo na yung control risk dito. Naka-identify mo na high ba siya or less than high. Okay, ito natin may overall responses tapos may responses at the assertion level. Okay. In order to reduce audit risk to an acceptable low level, the auditor should determine overall responses to assess risk at the FS level and should design and perform further audit procedures to respond to assess risk at the assertion level. Okay. Overall responses may include emphasizing to the audit team the need to maintain professional skepticism. Ayan na naman si professional skepticism in gathering and evaluating evidence. Assigning more experienced staff or specialized, yung staff na may specialized skills or experts kung meron na. Ayan, providing more supervision. Ayan, incorporating unpredictability in the selection of procedures. Okay, bakit kailangan unpredictable? Kahit paano, para hindi mapaghandaan ni client yung mga procedure mo. Kung halimbawa kasi alam niya yung gagawin mo, pwede niya nang paghandaan. Para at least ma-provide niya yung mga hihingin mo dun sa ipe-perform mo na audit procedure o na substantive procedure. So, dapat unpredictable para may element of surprise na tinatawag. Okay, ito, making general changes to nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures. Ayan, general changes. Ito yung overall responses. Okay. Next, responses at the assertion level. Ayan. Preliminary control risk assessment is high. Okay. So, kapag high nga yung control risk assessment, mag-substantive test ka na lang. Huwag ka na mag-rely sa controls. Huwag ka na mag-TOC. Okay, proceed to step 5. Ano ba yung step 5? Dito ka na determine nature, time, and extent of substantive test. Okay, hindi ka na kasi mag-TTOC. Ngayon, kapag less than high yung control risk assessment, you may use reliance approach. Okay. So, magti-TOC ka. Kaya, dalawang audit programs ang pe-prepare. Yung TOC and substantive test. Okay. Ayan. So, tingnan mo dito, no? Ito na yung TOC, yung kanina pa natin binabanggit. Ayan. Are used to test the effectiveness of the design or operation of a client's internal control policy or procedure. Tests are applied only to those controls the auditor intends to rely. Okay. An auditor would not rely on a particular control. Ito, take note mo to. Yan. Teka, lagyan natin ng asterisk. Auditor would not rely on a particular control if the effort required to test controls exceeds the reduction in the year-end audit effort that could be achieved. Okay. Baka kasi, yung pag-test mo dun sa control, mas magpaparami pa dun sa gagawin mo sa year-end. Okay? Ano ba kasing goal mo kung bakit ka nagte-test of controls? Para mabawasan, ano? Para yung effort mo sa year-end audit, mabawasan. Okay? Kung yung test of controls na i-perform mo is mas mahirap pa doon sa substantive test, no? Yung effort na required sa TOC, mas marami pa kaysa doon sa substantive test, bakit mo pa gagawin yan? Huwag ka na mag-rely. Okay? Mag-substantive test ka na lang. Mas mapapagod ka pala kung magti-TOC ka pa. Okay. Ayan, nature of TOC. TOCs generally consist of one or a combination of the following. Yan, take note mo to, abisaduhin mo. Inquiry, observation, inspection, re-performance, or recalculation. Yan, inquiry, yung mga interview lang, no? Observation, titingnan mo mismo. Ito, favorite ko nga, observation. Inspection, magbubuklat ka na ng documents. Ito, medyo ayaw ko yan. Then, re-performance or recalculation, lalo namang ayaw ko yan, ano? Ito lang favorite ko talaga, observation. Pero yan, take note, inquiry alone generally does not provide sufficient evidence to support a conclusion. Sabi ko nga kanina, huwag kang masyadong magtiwala. Okay, and inulit dito, no? Professional skepticism. Okay. Ayan. So, yan. Inquiry alone does not provide sufficient evidence to support a conclusion about whether a control is effective. When the auditor believes a control is so significant that further evidence of its effectiveness is necessary, it is appropriate to re-perform its application. Yung re-performance. Halimbawa, ulitin mo, no? So, yung example natin kanina, si accountant, no, yung gumawa ng tawag dito, bank recon. Ayan. So, tas pinirmahan ni supervisor niya o yung accounting head nila. Okay. Ito mismo, control na to Okay, control na yung pirma na yan no? Kung nakita mo yan, auditor ka, no? Nakita mo yung pirma, okay to. Chinek nung accounting head. Okay, pero kung duda ka pa rin bilang auditor, ulitin mo yung bank record na ginawa ni accountant. Yun yung re-performance or recalculation. Okay? Ayan, no? Nasaan na yun? Ayan. When the auditor believes a control is so significant that further evidence of its effectiveness is necessary, it is appropriate to re-perform its application. Okay. Then ayan. Control deviations. When performing TOC, an auditor may find differences between what was expected and what actually occurred. These are called exceptions, deviations, or occurrences. Okay. Diba, nag-TOC ka nga. Nakita mo na yung mga pinagsasabi nila dun sa interview, hindi pala totoo, no? Merong deviations, no? Pero hindi yan tinatawag na errors. Okay. Deviations lang. Excuse me. Ayan. And then ito, timing of TOC depends on auditor's objective. Then determines the period of reliance on controls. Okay. Ayan. So, kasi yung timing ng test of controls, no, halimbawa, yung test of control mo, pinrovide mo interim lang, no? Halimbawa, October. So, yung period na pwede mong pag-relyan doon sa controls na yun, hanggang October lang din. Okay, kasi yun lang yung na-test mo So, dapat, kung gusto mo mag-rely sa kabuuan ng period, mag-perform kang TOC year-end. Okay? Then, depende rin yung timing doon sa objective ni auditor, no? Kung gaano niya planong mag-rely doon sa control. Okay. The extent of TOC, the more the auditor relies on the operating effectiveness of controls in the assessment of risk, the greater is the extent of the TOC. Uy, ano tong lumitaw na to? Malis ka dyan. Paano to alisin? Ala. Close. Okay, ayan. Ayan, wala. Microsoft. Ayan, may commercial na naman tayo. Okay, ayan. So, yan, ano. Ulitin na lang natin. The more the auditor relies on the operating effectiveness of controls in the assessment of risk, the greater is the extent of the TOC. So, as the rate of expected deviation from a control increases, the auditor increases the extent of testing of the control. Ayan, considerations in determining the extent of TOC. No? Frequency of performance of control. Length of time of reliance. So, sabi nga natin sa timing, no? Ito, relevance and reliability of evidence to be obtained. Extent to which evidence is obtained from other controls. Ito, extent to which auditor plans to rely on control in the assessment of risk. Then yung expected deviation. Okay. Ayan. So, sa iba't ibang aspects o iba't ibang transaction cycles, no, may iba't iba ring TOC na pina-perform. Ayan, dito sa mga to. Payroll, ayan, diba? Revenue, sa purchasing, sa payroll, sa production or conversion cycle, pati financing. Okay. Ayan. Okay. Step 4 tayo, reassess level of control risk. Auditor should evaluate whether the internal control are designed and operating as contemplated in the preliminary assessment of control risk. If higher, okay, yung control risk, reassess the level of control risk and reconsider the assurance needed from substantive tests. Okay, if TOC reveals a departure or breakdown in controls, auditor considers its cause and documents conclusions reached. Ito may summary naman ng documentation requirements. Okay, risk assessment ng yung control risk. Kapag high, yung documentation requirements, yung understanding of internal controls, yung control risk assessment, pero yung basis for the high evaluation, hindi na kailangan. Okay, pero pag less than high, ayan, yun yung magiging required documentation, yung basis for the less than high control risk assessment. Okay. Then ito, no, determine the nature, timing, and extent of substantive test. Ito, take note mo to. Irrespective of the assessed risk of material misstatement. So, halimbawa, high man yan or less than high, the auditor should design and perform substantive test. Okay. So, kahit may TOC ka, magpe-perform ka pa rin ng substantive test. Okay. So, hindi pwede yung purong TOC lang. Okay. Ayan. For each material class of transactions, account balances, and disclosures. Okay. As the assessed level of control risk decreases, the auditor may modify the substantive test in the following ways. Okay. So, halimbawa nga, yan, lumiit na yung control risk assessment. So, pwede nang i-modify yung substantive test. Yan. Change the nature of substantive test. Okay. Yung gagawin mo na lang is analytics instead of detailed substantive test. Yung analytics na to, yung analytical procedure, na-introduce natin to nung planning. Okay. So, sabi natin, pwede rin mag-perform ng analytical procedure during substantive test. Okay. And mas madali kasi yung gawin kaysa dun sa detailed substantive tests. Okay. Next natin, change timing of substantive test. Interim na lang rather than year-end. Okay. Then ito, change the extent of substantive test So, pwede na tayong gumamit ng mas maliit na sample size. So, konti lang yung i-vouch mo. Okay. When the auditor has determined that an assessed risk of material misstatement at assertion level is a significant risk, again, ano yung significant risk? Yung nagre-require ng special audit attention. No? He shall perform substantive procedures specifically responsive to that risk. Okay. Ayan, yung 5 steps dito no, sa evaluation ng internal control sa financial statements. Okay. Ayan. Then, last part na, deficiencies in internal control. Ayan. Basahin lang natin. A deficiency in internal control exists when a control is designed, implemented, or operated in such a way that it is unable to prevent or detect and correct misstatements in the FS on a timely basis. Yan kasi yung goal ng internal control, no? Prevent, detect, or correct the misstatements. Then, meron ding deficiency kapag a control necessary to prevent or detect and correct is missing. Okay? Yung difference lang nila dito sa una, meron namang control, kaya lang hindi niya nagagawa yung dapat niyang magawa. Yung pangalawa, wala talaga yung control. Okay. Next bullet point, significant deficiency. A deficiency in internal control that is of sufficient importance to merit the attention of those charged with governance. The auditor shall communicate in writing the significant deficiencies to those charged with governance on a timely basis. Auditor shall also communicate to management. Ba't mapaling yung mga guhit ko? Isa pa, yan. To management at an appropriate level on a timely basis, in writing, significant deficiencies the auditor has communicated or intends to communicate to those charged with governance. And pati yung internal control deficiencies not communicated to management. Ito pa, auditor shall include in the documentation the description of deficiencies and potential effects. Ganito rin. Include in the communication sufficient information to allow understanding of the context of communication. So, lilinawin mo lang na yung purpose of the audit was for the auditor to express an opinion on the FS. Then, yung audit included consideration of relevant internal controls to allow design of audit procedures, not to form an opinion on the effectiveness of internal control. Okay. Then, last, matters being reported are limited to deficiencies identified by the auditor that is of sufficient importance. So, hindi lahat ng deficiencies kino-communicate. Yun lang, may sufficient importance na yung mga makaka-apekto sa atin sa ipe-perform natin na audit procedure. Okay, and ayan. Para sa internal control. Study and evaluation of internal control. Okay. May question ka ba? Unmute ka lang. Okay, mukhang wala naman, ano? Tara, stop natin yung recording bago pa mag-crash ulit yung laptop.